Hello, everyone. We are so excited to be with you here today. If you are here with us for the first time, some of you, I'm sure, have seen our faces a couple of times. I am Stephanie. I am a licensed professional counselor here in the Dallas area. And
I am Tara. I am a licensed master social worker, also in the Dallas area. We're so glad to be here with you today.
yes, and we are talking about social media yet again, but this time we're going to talk about it in a different way. Social media and you. If you've seen our videos before, we talked about cultivating kindness with social media, but this one we're really going to focus on protecting your digital footprint. We're going to explain what that means too. So lean back, listen. We're going to talk to you about a few things and just also have a resource one pager for you after this. Now, we first want to let you know that Tara and I are not going to tell you not to use social media.
Oh, yeah.
We're not those people to tell you it's a bad thing, don't use it, you're on it too much. Instead, we're going to talk about using it as a tool, using it the right way. I love how this quote says, we get to live in a time that we get to use social media as a tool. Social media can be a gift that you actually have so much control over, even though you feel like sometimes you don't. It can kind of feel like it's hard to separate from. But we're going to walk through some choices that you can make to create, again, a really positive digital footprint for yourself.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to social media.
Lots of benefits. So here are just a few of the benefits that we have as we're kind of thinking about the different types, whether you're using Instagram, Snapchat, Be Real, Twitter, Facebook, and I'm missing
all of the things.
All of the things. What's really TikTok, yes,
Yeah.
That's what I forgot. What's really good about social media is that you get to connect with family members or friends and family that may not be in close proximity to you. So whether they're out of town or it's about to be spring break or you're about to go on a vacation and you still want to stay connected with people, kind of see how they're doing. As you know, social media is a great tool to stay connected. It's also a great way, we talked about in our last video, connecting you to volunteer opportunities, really seeing what's out there, how you can support, what needs are kind of popping up to the surface for your local area, but also worldwide.
Yeah.
So things that you may not see every day on the news, you can kind of look at social media and see like, oh goodness, this is an amazing opportunity. Another great benefit of social media is that it can enhance creativity by sharing ideas. You can find people that may have the same likes that you have, may share the same talents, things that inspire you, and it kind of motivates you to, hey, be more creative. I know I like to be pretty active. And so I follow a lot of people on social media who do a lot of running or they do rock climbing, some of the things I can't do.
Not yet. Not yet.
But I follow them because when I'm going across their posts, I'm like, oh, that is so cool. And it reminds me to get active. And that's how I find creativity. So
I'm trying to grow my own vegetables for the first time, like the last couple of years. And so you can Google and find that information, but I find it much easier to follow like different people that are trying the same thing. And it's in Dallas where I live, so they're growing the same kind of vegetables and like sharing tips and tricks as they try to grow seeds and they don't work, like what went wrong. And so it's super helpful.
It is to learn from those people and watch them make mistakes.
Yes,
it makes you feel okay too.
Yeah.
And another big reason why I like using social media is it helps me stay on top of current events. Sometimes things pop up on social media well before they're even on the news. And so depending on who you follow, where you follow, what news stations you follow, it keeps you aware of what's going on around you. It helps you just really to stay on top of those current events. So this is why we don't think social media is all bad. It has lots of benefits, and these are just the 4 that we wanted to kind of pull out for you. But I'm sure you could even think of some really cool benefits that we didn't list on the screen.
Absolutely.
But again, we are focused today on your digital footprint. And so some of you may have heard that term before, but basically a digital footprint is just a record of your online activity. Now it can be active or it can be passive. So when we say active digital footprint, that's kind of showing the things that you do online, what you've posted online, what you have shared, your comments, kind of the sites that you visit, all of that, not to scare you, is being tracked.
Right.
Right?
It's all out there.
And so it's actively creating a. So thinking about the active digital footprint, again, that's the stuff that you are doing. Now, the passive digital footprint is, I know you guys have noticed, like when you log on to Instagram or anything else, it'll say, would you like to allow this post or allow this company to track your information? So it gives you kind of a choice. So again, your active digital footprint is the things that you do, you share, your Twitter, your TikTok, all of that is a path that is being tracked actively. But passively, sometimes websites will track things kind of on their own, like your age, your demographics, and all of that kind of stuff.
Even sometimes other pages that you visit. So some of those permissions, when we click yes, it will follow you to see like what you're shopping for online or what you're Googling and different things like that.
Yes, so we want to make sure you kind of get that big piece of what a digital footprint is. You've already created one. We just want to give you some tips on how to make sure that's a positive digital footprint when you go back and look at it later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the first thing that we try to do for ourselves, and we're encouraging you to do the same thing, is to protect what you share. So like Steph said, sometimes they'll give you like a little pop-up about, would you like to be tracked or not? So that's one option that you have. And then in every app that you are using, there's privacy settings. So if you need help to use those, you can Google it and figure out how to turn certain things on and off. Because maybe there are things that you're okay with sharing and other things that you're not. Even I know, like for Instagram, you can choose to have just like a close circle of friends that you share to for certain things, and then you can share other things more broadly. So just kind of taking control of your own privacy settings is one way to protect what you share. And then another piece of this, I'll just encourage you as well, is to think about when you're posting, who else is represented in what you post. So I think about this because I have kids, but I know some teens that think about this with their friends, that you might not want to post a picture of someone else without asking their permission, or just kind of being aware of that. Another thing is noticing if you're sharing your location.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, because that cannot be safe sometimes. So if you're at a shop and you're there currently and you post and you have your location settings turned on, it'll say that you're at that shop. So if you don't have a private account and anyone can see that, can put you at risk. So turning those off can be another way to keep yourself safe.
Yeah, and one thing that I do is if I take a picture of something and I want to add the location because it's just a really cool place, is I post it after I've left.
Oh yeah, that works too.
I'm driving away and I've made it to another destination, then I'll post that old photo. It's not old, it's like 30 minutes old, and then post whatever the location is. I'm not currently there, but I've waited, so that kind of adds a layer of safety too.
That's really smart. So another thing we would encourage too is thinking long-term. And this could be hard because one of the great things about social media is we can express how we're feeling in the moment. And it's not always, something where we're thinking through everything that we post. But sometimes when we're posting things in the moment like that, we can end up sharing things that we regret later on. And so one kind of mindfulness activity that we can try when we're posting is, okay, right before I hit share, how would I feel if this was shared out and 100 people saw it? Would I feel okay with that? What if someone at school printed this out? Would I be okay with it? And lastly, is there anything in here that's going to hurt someone? Because maybe this is how I'm feeling in the moment, but if someone else gets hurt, I might really regret that later. So just some things to kind of help you pause in the moment before you post.
And there have been a couple of celebrities and things that have gotten in trouble for posts that they don't even remember because of their digital footprint. people have found it and they're like, you posted this 10 years ago. And they're like, I don't even remember what that was doing. So that is a digital footprint. It kind of comes back because we know the tell is true that nothing is truly deleted off of the internet
ever. Like once it's out there, it's out there.
I think this is a really good mindfulness thing to think about.
To keep in mind. So what do we want to share when we are posting?
We want to share love, kindness, and compassion. And so we have a video. We always like to bring in voices of teens that they just kind of share a little bit about what it looks like to show kindness and compassion via social media. So go ahead and take a watch.
So the way you can use online interactions to spread or enhance kindness is by always being positive to situations. So like if someone is asking for help, you can coach them through what they need help with. Or if they're feeling down, you could also speak to them and help cheer them up.
I post kind quotes and positive affirmations, and on my personal social media, I always comment on my friends' photos saying, hey, I hope you have a great day, or that looks like a lot of fun, I wish I could be there, like that kind of thing. And for myself, I don't post anything that is harmful to others or to groups. I try to uplift others instead, and I don't keep my opinions to myself. I always voice my opinions, but I don't hurt others by voicing my opinions.
You know, if you don't have anything to say that is, conducive, maybe just act the same way you would talk to that person in real life, I think.
If I saw cyberbullying online or unkind behavior, I would support that person as best as I can. I would also see if I can help them in a situation, if they have had comments on them of how they look or anything like that, or social media can get to people, and I want people to have a safe space to be able to be online without having to feel like they're being judged.
Speak up, The point of online platforms is to spread how you feel and share your emotions. So if you think something is unjust or hurts someone's feelings, stand up for them, because they'll appreciate it and it'll just generally make the world a better place.
What a good thing to do is to report it to whatever platform you're on and tell an adult, and then they can help from there based on what unfolds.
I enjoyed that, especially that last piece about the cyberbullying. And because sometimes you'll scroll and you'll just be like, oh, that was really rude, but you don't think, hey, I can contribute to the kindness.
Of course, or maybe that person needs support.
Yeah. And she even said something about, and I do this because you can do it anonymously, reporting accounts. Like if I just like something, this is just not right, I'll go ahead and report that account. So keeping the web safe for others too.
Yeah,
this is a good one.
And I'm sorry, I'll have a little allergies going today. So what are some ways that we can actively do this to cultivate kindness with what we post? Post something beautiful. So this is a beautiful landscape. Post something that, some beauty that you see in the world that you want to share with others. Post quotes that motivate you. Maybe that quote will speak to someone else at the same time. Add, other thoughts that you see from leaders. So maybe you see something that you're like, yeah, you know what? That's really smart. I want to post that and spread that message too. And lastly, post causes. So Steph mentioned this earlier. Maybe you're doing some kind of service, or there's a cause that you're following or supporting. Spreading the message about events, online or in person, can really help get the word out. And that's a way that you can help cultivate kindness in your community.
I think that's way more powerful than we think it is. Just a simple sharing of something that you believe in or something that you feel is worth value, and then you share it to your network. We've seen how that works so much in supporting different causes. So I think that's a huge one to pay attention to.
And really helpful for folks that need to get the word out. So another thing we want to emphasize is protecting your mental health when you're online. And so you may have noticed that sometimes when you've been scrolling for a while, not all the time, but sometimes you kind of put your phone down and you feel worse than when you started. And so we're just asking you to pay attention to that. We know that a lot of these social media apps have been designed to keep us on them.
Yes.
So one thing that a practice that Steph and I both use, we use Instagram probably the most. And a practice that we have is we both will take breaks from Instagram. So we'll like let each other know like, hey, you know what? I'm actually off Instagram for like a month or a week or even a day. I even actually delete it off my phone and then reinstall it because I have a hard time not clicking it. That's how addictive it is. And even then, Instagram will sometimes email you and say like, hey, Stephanie McGarry is sharing a post. Are you sure you don't want to come back? So sometimes just taking a little break can help us kind of reset. We have a clock up here because sometimes, you know, setting a timer or using an app or your phone to actually set your settings and on time limits can be helpful. And just remembering that, like we said, like it's hard to stop on your own. It's hard for adults, it's hard for anyone. So using some kind of outside either app or source to help you limit your time can help you from just kind of scrolling endlessly forever. And really the only problem with that is then we don't get outside, we don't see people, we don't do things if we're just constantly on social media. I put here, there's a researcher that has studied social media and she says that communication doesn't always equal connection. So just because we're in touch with our friends on social media doesn't mean that we're always feeling truly connected. And doing like fun activities or meeting up in person with friends or family is a way to really improve your mental health and, you know, just enjoy life. So social media is good and it has some downfalls sometimes. So we just want to kind of pay attention to different things. You also want to notice if there's a particular person that you're following maybe, and you always feel bad after you see something that they post. That can be a really important thing to notice. And maybe you even, what was the thing you told me last time, Steph? I'm showing my age.
You can actually hide.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Instead of
unfollowing, because we know that can cause lots of problems that we don't need.
You don't, if you don't want to unfollow, you're like, I don't want them to then
be offended.
Hide their posts for a little while or hide their stories or whatever it is. And kind of going back to taking a break, it's gonna feel kind of weird the first time when you choose to do it.
Looking to click on your phone.
So give yourself some grace. I wouldn't say the first time I'm gonna be off of social media for a whole week. Give yourself an hour.
Maybe 5 minutes.
While I'm eating, I'm gonna choose not to be on social media while I'm eating. And then you'll start to notice that urge to want to do it. And you're gonna be like, man, it is quite addicting, right? So just give yourself, if this is something that you think about doing to kind of protect your mental health, your mind, the things you see while you're eating, or if you're walking, or if you're just spending some time with friends, make that be a challenge for yourself. You know, I'm going to put my phone down and be in the moment with the person that I'm next to.
Yeah.
So that we can connect.
Absolutely. And I think another thing with mental health is sometimes, I mean, I know for me for sure in social media, there can be these images that folks portray that like life is better, life is perfect, or they're saying, you know, I wish that I was traveling more, doing this, wearing this, owning this. And so just being aware that, you know, at the end of the day, social media is just an image. It's not a complete person. And what we know about people is everyone has their own struggles. Everyone has things that are good in their life. So getting a little bit of distance can help you kind of remember that.
Yes,
So
very true, very true.
So just experiment with it. Experiment with some breaks because everyone is unique too. So maybe you need a bigger break, maybe you need a smaller break. Try it out and see how you feel. All right, and our next tip is ask for help.
Yes.
So just like they mentioned in the video, just something that we wanted to know, like if you are seeing bullying online that gets out of control, or maybe I always tell my own kids this, if you see something that is just, you don't understand, it's confusing, or maybe scary, like definitely reach out to someone to help you kind of figure out what's going on. If you notice a friend or, someone that even you know a little bit that's threatening to harm themselves, that's always a good time when you want to reach out to someone and ask for help. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We don't want to be afraid to do that. You
Yeah.
can connect someone. And sometimes this is a easier way to ask for help via social media or to check in on somebody,
Yeah.
to direct message at them and say, hey, I noticed you had this post. I want to let you know that here are, and this is where you can then share your causes.
Yeah.
Here are some hotline numbers, or
Here's some
here's the resources,
Yeah.
or this really uplifted me. Here's something I could share with you. But like Tara said, if you feel like it's out of your control, or you feel like, hey, an adult really needs to be a part of this conversation, think about the adults that you trust in your relationship, in your life, that you feel like you would want to share that with to support someone.
Absolutely.
Now, this is my favorite one. Social media is an amazing place for you to be exactly who you are. It's your platform where you get to, this is the positive side of you getting to kind of curate your own self, right? You want to be as authentic as you can. There's a lot of pressure, like Tara was saying, to be somebody else, to look a certain way, to dress a certain way, to speak, eat a certain way. But you want your social media to reflect who you are. You don't want yours to look like everybody else's. You want someone to click on it and say, hey, I know this is Tara's Instagram or TikTok, because it shows exactly who she is as a person. So think about things that you're passionate about. Think about yourself, which can be hard to do. 10 years from now, if you're able to say, go back to your Instagram or TikTok or Twitter and say, that page really brought me joy. I can tell exactly who that page belongs to, because it communicates exactly who they are, because we're all unique. We're all special. We all have a special place in this world and we belong here. And so your social media platform can show, this is why I'm unique. Not because you're trying to prove it to anybody, just a place where you can express who you are uniquely you.
And so to end, we just want to remind you, create an online presence that you're proud of. And we're going to hear from one more team to close out our presentation. So thank you for joining us here today, and we hope to see you next time.
Belle, let's talk.
Social media is an amazing tool. However, it can also lead us to compare our lives, our bodies, and our experiences to other people. Today, I'm going to share healthy social media tips that I use whenever I'm feeling down after scrolling through my feed. Find the kindness. I share content that really resonates with my followers and reminds them that they can be anything they want to be. Don't hesitate to share positive comments on other people's pages, and don't put so much weight into the negative ones. Pause for a second. Take a second and pause to reflect on how the post is really making you feel. If you feel down about yourself after looking at a photo, then maybe it's a good idea to unfollow or mute that account. If a post makes you feel great about yourself, find other accounts like that. Try to check in with yourself regularly to see how social media is making you feel.
So thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Bye.